hello, testing, testing. And if you're watching me, I welcome you to this exciting moment here with Chigozie. Today we are going to analyze a very important subject, discuss or topical issue, bordering on the latest happening within the Nigerian social, political, and economic sphere. Yes, just about few hours or few days from now, of course, people will be converging from different parts of the country or migrating to other parts of the country for the Unitides celebration. The Christmas is very much around the corner, and I wish you all, for the Christian faithfuls, a wonderful Christian celebration, regardless of whatever might be happening around you. Much as there is life, thank God for the gift of life. Down here in Nigeria, and of course, some African regions, we are here to deliberate issues of importance. Why people are celebrating the Unitides for Nigerians and the many other people within the Nigerian state is quite very disturbing and regrettable experiences are being shared. Today, we are starting by the response of the Vice President Kasim Shetima over the position or statement made or submission made by the leader of the Conservative Party in UK, no other person but our beloved Kemi Badenoch, describing Nigeria based on her experience as a country where you will always have fears, instability, plagued by corruption. Now, her position about the Nigerian state and the happening within this country would not be dismissed entirely. Of course, in fact, that is exactly what is happening in Nigeria as it stands today. Nigeria is trapped in fears. Instability is the order of the day. Insecurity here and there. No part of this country, Nigeria, seems to be secured, seems to be safe. Just as I rightly said, the Unitide is very much around the corner. You see people becoming very much apprehensive. They are not free to travel from one location to the other without fear of being abducted, kidnapped, or falling into the hands of the miscreants, the human organ traffickers, kidnappers, and the rest of them is quite uh, very much anticipated, but that is quite unfortunate. In a country where there is very clear wide gap between the people governed and those governing them. The gap keep on widening. Now, what are we here to discuss? Kemi, based on her experience, based on her exposure, comparing her past with the present and where she resides as the leader of the Conservative Party in United Kingdom, of course, she wouldn't have attained such level of status if she were to be in Nigeria. How many people in Nigeria today are, I mean, female in Nigeria are leaders of a party that is well pronounced, well established within the Nigerian state? How many of these women within the northern part of the country could emerge as a leader of a party within Nigeria where Kashim Shetima came from or hails from? Women, of course, are not allowed to be exposed. Women are not allowed to express themselves at their liberty based on some religious inclinations, where that is best known to them. But here comes a woman who has evolved, who has manifested her potentials and the leadership potentials, capabilities being expressed to the point that the society where she found herself appreciates her dexterity, her capacity, her leadership qualities and competence to lead an entire party within the United Kingdom. And such woman could not just be celebrated, but could be deeply endeared. It's oftentimes you see Nigerians or those having nationalities or having their origin. I wouldn't use the word origin because that is part of our argument today. Those people who found themselves within the contraction called Nigeria, exploring the world, advancing human existence, making contributions to human development outside the Nigerian terrain, outside the Nigerian shores. You see them excelling remarkably outside of Nigerian shores, becoming leaders of thought, leaders, captains of industries, people who, of most recent, one Mr. Okoye in the USA was celebrated with US patent rights because of his ingenuity, discovery. He lived in a society where he's given the opportunity to explore every opportunity to advance his or her life. Such opportunities weren't available in Nigeria. In fact, systematically has been destroyed by the political class, elite, who believe that the only way to remain relevant is to continue the subjugation of their subjects, of their fellow citizens, because I wouldn't use the word subject. They are not, the governed are not less citizens or less human beings as they perceive them to be. So if Kemi Badenoch were to be raised and schooled and she lived in Nigeria, she wouldn't have such opportunity to explore, to advance, and to become responsible and contribute immensely to the development of humanity at large. So she's making wave wherever she resides. Likewise, every other well-meaning, responsible citizens, whether you call them the Yorubas, or you call them the Igbos, you call them the Sekiris, the Robos, whatever you call them, they are doing exceptionally well in different parts of the world where they found themselves. Now, why is it that such opportunities are not available within the Nigerian states? Why is it that they are not given the same opportunity to advance their existence and contribute meaningfully to human existence? You understand that those Western worlds, that's why you see uh, people living out of Nigeria is a sign of destitute, is a sign of desperation, is a sign that there is no hope within the Nigerian state, is a sign that the future they thought tomorrow could be better is not feasible. When you see people living with their families, visits airports, the local airport, international airport, you see how Nigerians are desperate to leave. It is an indication of a failing or a failed state, a state that has no prospect of better opportunities for her growing populations, for her population, for her citizens. So they needed to explore other opportunities outside the shores of Nigeria. to become humans, to become better, to become what they aspire to be, which is not realistic, which is illusioned within the Nigerian state. It is not realistic within the Nigerian contraption. You see, no wonder someone said that many destinies are being destroyed, many destinies are being wasted in Nigeria today. You see people who would have become enviable, who would have become a source of envy to other nations, contributing immensely to the development of humanity and within the society where they found themselves. But what you can see is destiny destroyers. Now, what am I trying to drive to? The woman's came in, the respected woman made her submissions out of pain and agony, out of frustration, that even the place she calls her home do not guarantee her future and the future of her generation or posterity to come. And likewise, she has her relatives and family uh, back, back here in Nigeria. She understood the pains, the agonies. Of course, all are in the media, what Nigerians are passing through. Oh, she said, oh, well, I did my best to have left this country. Some people who left this country 30 years ago would have justified their position, their thought to have left this country. It go better, it go better. 30 years ago, 30 years thereafter, things are getting more messier, more destructive than ever you can imagine. That more people are living who had the opportunity to live but could not exploit such opportunity. Today they are regretting. Nigeria go better, it go better. Even the people who saying that it go better now are looking for the, every available opportunity to score it for safety. Now you begin to ask, what is fundamentally wrong? This woman has pointed out the fundamental issue, the cog in the wheel of Nigeria's progress. The problem is the political class. The problem is the lives of the Vice President Kashim Shetima Tinubu and other predecessors of even the governors, not just limited to the president or the Rock. They are responsible for the problem bedeviling the Nigerian state. Now, a very responsible, reputable, distinguished, and accomplished lady or woman has pointed out the problem plaguing Nigeria. Now, what you should have done as a responsible government is to see how to address those issues raised by her. Of course, this is not the first time. She's not the first person to have raised the concerns. Nigerians has been speaking out, and their life has becoming more miserable. Certified or classified informations, international statistics and review about Nigeria, classify Nigeria as the state with the highest vulnerability, the state where the future of the born and the unborn is very bleak. Now, she said that the problem bedeviling plaguing Nigeria is corruption. Rather than addressing how do we tackle or show some level of commitment or political will in addressing corruption, what the president, the vice president could respond or react to is to ask her to delete Kemi from her name if she is not proud of her origin. Which of the origin? The origin you are talking of, she is Kemi, and Kemi is Oduduwa. Kemi is the daughter of Oduduwa. She was a Yoruba, and she is a Yoruba extraction. Before eventually Nigeria is just a conglomerate, is a British design empire to protect their business interests. So she is a Yoruba. She can't deny her ancestral lineage of the Yoruba because she is saying the truth. She's saying what is right and what is acceptable. So that is just the truth. Asking her to, if you are not proud of your origin, what is not? She's proud of her origin. In fact, the Odua nation should be proud of her that they have a daughter that have accomplished greatness, have accomplished, of course, have distinguished herself in her own field of endeavors, has exemplified the ingenuity, the character, the leadership, the rare quality, of course, the doers are known for. What you could respond is to delete your name if you are not happy with a Nigerian descent. Uh, Take away Kemi. What does that mean? Of course, she have maintained her position that she do not mince words. She do not regret her position. That is what every other person shares within Nigeria. Now, look at just in a cycle of 12 calendar months, Nigerian national power grids have collapsed 12 times, if not more. But the paper they told us is 12 times. Which means every month there is a breakdown of the national grid, power grid. So is that something she will be proud of? Why is it that they are not getting it right? You fix it the first time, the second time, and you are not getting it right. And billions are being pumped, expended. People are paying for the service not rendered. You see, as I'm making my broadcast and I'm sweating, profusing, seriously. What does it take to solve the issue of power generation, distribution? What does it take? It doesn't take a rocket science. Why is it that that has become almost an impossible thing to achieve within the Nigeria? And if that becomes impossible, no wonder those multinationals leaving the shores of Nigeria today are justified because you need a stable power generation to drive a viable economy, to drive industrial revolution. Now, if you cannot achieve the basic primary factor that drives economy, that drives revolution, industrial revolution, then you are not ready to develop whatever agenda or program propaganda you're making is just disillusion, is just deceptive, is unrealistic, and it is just a scam. It's a scam. If you cannot fix the issue of light, power generation, that even the domestic users cannot have light to charge their phones, to sleep with lights, then what guarantee the future of this country? Moving from consumption to production, it is unrealistic. The government is deceiving herself, and the population, of course, the gullible ones understood, responsible people understood what is happening, that with this template, with this configuration, Nigeria is not moving anywhere. If you doubt me, now, why is it that it has become almost impossible for the past 64 years of independence? You can't fix common power generation. You can't provide, you can't supply light to your people. We have the market. We have people who want to make use of the light. And you are busy going about borrowing. You don't know how to make use of what you have. Be productive. You have the largest market. You have people, even the consumers are very willing to once that is adequate, even without the lights, they have been paying off. Nigerians have been ripped off. You pay for the light, you are not seeing the light. Just as I'm professing. You pay close to 40, 45,000 in a month, and you're not seeing any light. That would have been an opportunity to explore the enormous potentials. The ready market already waiting for great investors. But what is happening? The collapse of the power station every day, national grid collapse, blackout. Is that the only story we are meant to hear? The blackout even affects even in the most sensitive regions or so sensitive facilities, just as general hospitals, government hospitals that are blackouts. People lose their life. Of course, I've been there for, if not this year, I've been there for a very serious case for 2 consecutive times. The experience was very ugly, very ugly, very ugly. The lecturers are crying that they can no longer fuel their cars, they can no longer feed well. In a country where you want to move forward, in a country where you want Kemi Badenoch to be proud of, where the lecturers, the highest citadel of learning, where the citizens will be imparted for innovations to drive an innovative society geared towards national development. Lecturers have, can no longer afford to fuel their cars. Why an average politician is galloping, looting upon looting, living at the expense, living at large at the expense of all and sundry, everyone. It is only the politicians that are not complaining in Nigeria. And you want such country to be productive, you want such country to move forward, you want people to be proud of the same country, where only the politicians are not complaining because they control, they usurp the resources of the nation, of course, share it among themselves as at will. The key sectors, primary sectors of the economy are not being addressed. So when Kemi raised concerns based on realities, based on statistics, based on the happenings within the country, she should be celebrated rather than being insulted. I think the president, the vice president, with all due respect, must tender an apology to Kemi for asking her to remove Kemi from her name. If she's not proud of what? Proud of what? Even the vice president is not in deep seated in her mind, in his mind, he's not proud of Nigeria. You can't be proud of a country where under your watch as a government of a governor, over 200 Chibok girls were adopted. There is breakdown of law and order. There is no security even for the vulnerable masses. Under her watch, Chibok girls happened where people were adopted. I mean, the entire Bruno, there was no threats, there was no military presence, there was no checkpoint, there was no intelligence to get those children arrested. Unless you're telling me that was faked. But of course, that would be possible within the country. So how do you expect this country to move forward? There is collapse, blackout, collapse of national grid. Lecturers can't pay, can't fuel their times. You know what that means? That's the highest insult, highest humiliation. Professors are being treated, paid peanut. Well, I wouldn't blame the professors because most of them, I'm not just advocating for them, most of them are being used as political troops to truncate and subvert democratic process. During the election, they are the same collation officers of different states. What did they do? They mortgage their destiny. They collect peanuts to sell their future, and they shouldn't complain. It is not yet time for them to complain. They will one day sell off those that are listening and use leg the worker, the lecturer. Go and meet your own colleagues and counterparts who subvert the democratic process. They are being used to rig the election. So who do you have to blame? As you kindly join us, please hit the like button so that YouTube algorithm can get this video more to others who will want to join us and of course get enjoy or be part of this discussion. This moment is going to be brief, I promise, and very interactive. I hope you're enjoying and following up. Thank you once again for being part of this discussion. I do appreciate it. Now, the same lecturers are being used to mortgage their destiny and the unborn children. And the unborn children, today they are complaining they can't wear their, you will never see anything. My sympathy only goes to those responsible, those God-fearing, those disciplined lecturers. We still have them, but there are very few who unfortunately are passing through the same ordeal as every other Nigerian citizen. So the solving the or attacking the personality of Kemi does not solve any problem, does not deny the reality on ground. Just like asking me, Chigozie Igbo, to 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 remove Chigozie from my name and answer who? Answer Shetima Abi Abubakar or Tafawa Balewa. I'm a typical Igbo man. Typical Igbo man. Not an half caste. You cannot ask our sister Kemi to remove Kemi because she said what was the real fundamental crisis rocking the Nigerian state. Keeping the Nigeria at the point of retrogression, stuck in the wheel of motionless and despair. Rather than seeking how you and your administration of Tinubu can solve the problem. Fortunately, Buhari was considered corrupt. Buhari's administration was considered one of the most corrupt, but we never knew that the mother of corruption will be entrenched within this system. Collapse of national grid more than 12 times in a cycle of 12 months. What is that you have not learned in the first instance, second, third? Why not embark on decentralization of those jinkos? Let every region control their own resources. Even every state, local government can generate their own power depending on their power consumption rates. What they need, the siting of industries and whatever capacity they want to build or want to attract investors. That is how governors and government should be run. Government is something that gives to is a sense of responsibility, accountability to your own people. Government is not just about being selfish, taking, embezzling the engulfing, in pledging the Nigerian country masses. You know what this means? God forbid that I will preside over a country where over 133 million is being considered to be living above, below poverty line. God forbid, is a cause that I, as a president, preside over a country where more than 80 to 90% of the population is poor. And I will sleep. I will go to bed and sleep. I can't think how do I solve this problem. If I have no solution, if I can't provide any solution to that, I think that resignation is a cause that you have don't send even their father. Those who voted for them are complaining worse. One of them came around and tell me, please, after my program, outdoor programs, please, I should help him that he's hungry. His family has not eaten. The first question I asked him, trust me, I asked him, you supported this government. Why can't you hold the government responsible? That things are very causal. Who is responsible? Am I the one responsible? I'm also passing through the same day. I lambasamu. I use now adult now. I better use mouth give and kuboku. Where we go enter him blockers? Before I decided to do whatever, of course, the humanity in me should not turn back on the dying neighbor around me. I have to tell. What next with 2020 is if actually there is another opportunity for Nigeria to survive, you will still make the same mistake. The first collapse, the second collapse. Who are those sabotaging the cause? Perhaps somebody who is fixing it, taking the contract of fixing, might be culpable, or whosoever, the Boko Haram or whosoever's insurgency, bringing it down. The solution has not been profound. We have people who do not think beyond their nose, beyond the box. That is the problem. Now, if you are incurring more debt, more loss, more collapse, more, you know how many people who business have been destroyed because of the eclectic, because of this collapse, national grids. People who have refrigerators and other seasoned commodities that will break down, that will decay in the course of this, but they are still paying heavily. If you can't provide solutions, what next could you do? I'm very much ashamed. I don't think any responsible person will be alive watching the population where the precise that the president and the vice president, they are dying of hunger, there is starvation, everybody is complaining, the doctors are complaining, most of them are frustrated, leaving the shores of this country. The health sector is in comatose. Of course, if the power national grid collapse, who will give them light? Diesel is very high, costly. Fuel is out of reach. Electronics can't fuel their cars. What is happening? If you can't fuel their cars, is it to take care of their bills, their rental bills, other bills that will be affordable? No, these are fundamental issues we must address. Unfortunately, as a people, I'm not just talking as a nation, because Nigeria has failed her population, of the political class has failed her population, and there seems to be no hope, even as it stands now and in the near future. Where is that hope? Who should inspire the hope? Who should lead the direction? In the midst of renewed hope, people's future, destiny have been battered. They just brought the light. Possibly, I will not be surprised if it's been taken in the next couple of minutes. It won't be a surprise to me, because we are used to this. But how long do we continue to uh, adopt mediocrity, accept what is unacceptable within the society? It's not a rocket science. You said you have passed a bill to decentralize power stations. Why not implement it? Why not enforce it? That every region, every state must generate their own power station, attract, of course, a viable or robust program. How do you want investors to come if you have no power? If you cannot guarantee them there will be adequate power supply to power their industries and their business conglomerates, how do you convince them? You think they are fools? The multiple taxations are there to cripple the economy. The inflation is there. The insecurity is there. Oh my God, what are we saying? What exactly are we? Who are we deceiving in this country? That you ask beloved Kemi to relinquish her name as a Kemi that is a symbol of identity, of pride. She is a Yoruba or the Odua nation. She's the daughter of Odua. You can't ask her to remove the Kemi if he's not proud. Who will be proud with failure? Endemic failure. I mean, it's quite unfortunate. Lack of accountability, lack of responsibility, lack of credibility is what is the fundamental problem bedeviling Nigeria. And not until those things are addressed, who will address it? The president had come to address the Nigerians or whosoever is concerned that there is no vacancy in the House of Law. And you think he never meant it. Why is there no vacancy where people are lamenting and clamoring, where lecturers can't fuel their cars, where doctors are not well paid, where even their working conditions is very abysmal, where virtually everybody is complaining, both on the street, on the offices. Of course, of most recent, the delayed November salary, they told us that the federal government is now trying to facilitate the delayed November salary. We're in December today. How do you expect the people to go to work? How do you expect the upkeep of the family to be running? Or you are encouraging them indirectly to go and look for where to steal, to widen the gap of corruption. Because if you don't pay a worker his wages when it is due, to enable him carry on with his life and, of course, pay his bills and whatever, how do you expect him with this increment in fuel, the transportation fare and all that, even food? An egg, as small as it is, is not less than 300 naira. Egg. And the little, I'm not talking about the bigger ones. As small as you can imagine, is 300 naira. Then the bigger ones, some are 400, 500. One egg. Before, how much would you use to buy a crate of egg? An egg you buy 20 naira. Big ones, 20 naira before. 20 naira. Now, one of it, you buy 300, least 350, 400, and the rest is history. Egg. You know what that means? How many people can afford it? It's quite unfortunate, very painful. So how do we continue? How long do we continue in this, making empty promises, propagandas? They're telling Nigerians that they should go and hang themselves. There is no, as far as is concerned, of course, they will perpetuate themselves within the corridor of power. There will be no opposition. There will be no confrontation. That informs the reason why people are calling for the disintegration of the country, because you have destroyed every opportunity for people to aspire for the best hands to be within the corridor of power. You want to hijack and usurp the every opportunities. People have to progress. People have to explore, to select their own leaders by themselves so that they can hold them responsible. You have mortgaged the entire system and, of course, pocketed them, and they will be at your beck and call. So there's no cause to worry, no cause for alarm. The election will be, manipulated because you have the Maradonas around you, surrounded, and are ready to do your biddings. They are well prepared and, of course, engaged and instructed on what to do. It's just a matter of time. Perhaps the deal has been done, only waiting for whatever or whenever the opportunity calls up for you to orchestrate whatever have been redesigned or prepared ahead of time. Well, with such, you can build a viable and a sustainable system. Righteousness exalts a nation. Righteousness simply implies doing what is right. Do what is right. And accepting responsibilities. When you have failed, you should accept responsibilities. And if become necessary, Step aside, let those who are more competent, who has what it takes to offer to drive the society, the human society, into progressive development or adventure. At least there should be a paradigm shift. If not, expectations not met, there should be an air of hope, an air that inspires hope. But unfortunately, that is not realizable, is not possible within the political arrangement within Nigerian state. Now, it's very unfortunate. What do you expect? He said, please, can I just, okay, okay, please, just at the after the comment section. Okay, let me just highlight your this thing. Let me know what you feel. Okay, so this, okay, I will see after the program. Now I won't be able to access this because of the gadgets we are using. Hopefully, after this program, I will drop. Just do me a favor, drop your comments or whatever I follow up, or expect my response at the comment section after this program. I will uh, make it possible so that you get your questions or whatever you need possible. So it's quite unfortunate as we are seeing it because I cannot reach the background, behind the scene, and whatever be the case, continue to let us know what is your own perspective regarding this development. Thank you once again for being part of this discussion. Kindly hit the like button before you leave. I do appreciate you once again. We will continue to speak up until the right thing is done, until humanity is being preserved. If all these things are happening, you begin to ask, how do you build a viable nation? How do you build a viable society? Because if you don't create, if the continued collapse of the national grids persists, lecturers are complaining, it implies that more people will be that will be dropped out, more insecurity will be built, moral decadence, and of course, people will think towards corruption, criminality. If somebody who is educated to the point of becoming a lecturer cannot fuel his own car, while you see an average, a commoner who even doesn't have a passing six, primary six living certificate, and was fortunate or by any hook or crook or any means become an ordinary councillor, ward councillor, will be having fleets of cars in just a space of 2 years, building houses, buying houses in most of the choice places in the same country where lecturers can buy fuel for their car. Ordinary ward councillor is buying houses, building fleets of cars, not talking of buying fuel. But you know that that country is doomed. That country is doomed. You have professors. You read before you become a lecturer now. The condition you have to read PhD. You have to get your doctorate degree. You have to have master now. My mind now, master not just my mind now, just a lecturer. What did they call it? Level one or whatever you call them. Hmm? An assistant lecturer. With all this, you can't fuel your car. I see that is not a cost to this country. Ordinary ward councillor is buying houses in this even in a very costly environment without passing C's or even without just primary school. Sometimes most of them fake it. Most of them use whatever reason to manipulate it. How do you encourage ingenuity? How do you encourage, I mean, merit, people working hard, contributing, let alone talking about research? I recall my experience during my varsity days, my first degree, where In fact, I don't need to go there because it reminds me how horrible, how terrible the system is. Thank you once again. I will have to drop here to come back in subsequent editions. Have a great day with your loved ones and family. Adventure Ndimo wishing you all the best of the Unitize here from Call Wave Team. Don't forget, of course, to facilitate with us, share with us whatever you have to encourage us, and the standby analysts who also come here to air their minds at different occasions. We want to celebrate them. It is not compulsive. If it comes out of your volitions, we would deeply appreciate it. Thank you once again for watching, and bye